In 1954, a shy young truck driver walked into a small recording studio in Memphis. He only wanted to record a song for his mother. But that simple recording session would change music forever. His name was Elvis Presley. Before he became the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley was just a quiet boy from a small town in Mississippi. He was born on January 8th, 1935, in the tiny town of Tupelo. It was the middle of the Great Depression, and life was hard for almost everyone. Elvis's family lived in a small two-room house built by his father. The house had no luxury, no comfort, and very little money. But inside those walls, something powerful was growing: music. As a child, Elvis spent much of his time listening. On Sunday mornings, his mother would take him to church. The room would fill with the sound of gospel singing, voices rising together, hands clapping, people lost in the emotion of the music. For the young Elvis, these moments were magical. He watched the singers carefully. He listened to every note. And slowly, without realizing it, those sounds were shaping him. But church wasn't the only place where Elvis discovered music. Outside the church walls, Tupelo was full of different musical traditions. Blues musicians played on street corners. Country songs played on the radio. Rhythm and blues drifted out of small clubs late at night. Elvis absorbed all of it. He listened to black gospel choirs. He listened to country singers. He listened to the raw blues coming from the Mississippi Delta. Years later, these sounds would fuse together and create something the world had never heard before. But at the time, Elvis wasn't thinking about changing music. He was just a shy boy with a dream, a boy who loved music more than anything else. And nobody, not his neighbors, not his teachers, not even his family, could have imagined what that quiet boy from Tupelo would become. By the early 1950s, Elvis Presley had finished high school in Memphis, but fame was still nowhere in sight. Most people who saw him on the street would never guess that this quiet young man would one day change music forever. To earn a living, Elvis found a job driving trucks for a local company called Crown Electric. Every morning he climbed into an old delivery truck and drove through the busy streets of Memphis. The work was simple: deliver electrical supplies, drive across the city, unload boxes, then drive again. But inside that truck, Elvis wasn't just working. He was dreaming. Sometimes he would sing quietly while driving through the Mississippi heat. Other times, he imagined himself standing on a stage somewhere, with a crowd cheering in front of him. His co-workers didn't always take him seriously. One time, when Elvis told someone he wanted to become a singer, the man laughed and said, "You better stick to driving trucks." But Elvis kept believing, and after long days behind the wheel, he would sometimes stop by a small recording studio in Memphis, a place called Sun Studio. He didn't know it yet, but that little studio would soon change his life. One afternoon in 1953, Elvis Presley walked into a small recording studio in Memphis. The place was called Sun Studio. From the outside, it didn't look like much, just a modest brick building on Union Avenue. Inside, however, something special was happening. The studio was run by a producer named Sam Phillips. Phillips had a dream of discovering new sounds, voices that didn't sound like anyone else. That day, a shy 18-year-old truck driver stepped through the door. Elvis Presley. He wasn't famous. He didn't have a record deal. In fact, he had come for a very simple reason. He wanted to record a song as a gift for his mother. The recording cost $4. Elvis nervously stepped up to the microphone. The room was small. The equipment was simple. But the moment felt enormous. He sang 2 songs that day. My Happiness, and That's When Your Heartaches Begin. The recordings didn't make him famous overnight, but something important had happened. Sam Phillips's assistant had taken note of the young singer, and the studio kept his name. Because somewhere deep down, Sam Phillips believed there was something unusual about that voice, something different, something powerful. And not long after that first recording, Sun Studio would call Elvis back.